What is up, NFL fans, and welcome back to another episode of For Your Viewing Pleasure. I'm Jeff Hartman, joined by Wesley Coleman. What's up, Wesley? Week 4. It's hard to believe we're here.
Going to be 25% of the way through the season after this. Is that when we start breaking teams into tiers and actually realizing what each team is, maybe?
I want to say yes, but then there's a part of me that still says, I think it was you maybe that said that not until Thanksgiving is when we really know the the wheat from the chaff, so to speak, if you want to look at the biblical reference. But so for me, I think that you can start to tier teams because you do know basically who is there and who isn't. I don't know, man. Do you think so?
I mean, there's a little bit, but I mean, we're almost looking like there's either week 1 or week 2 that you can kind of throw out for every team, it seems like. So I don't know. There's definitely some questions this year. Like some of the top teams maybe don't look that way, but it's a long season, so I think these will change a lot.
All right, so on this show, obviously we preview the upcoming week of games. We're going to start with the primetime games. Let's start on Thursday night. Seattle Seahawks, Arizona Cardinals in the desert. Arizona suffers a big injury with James Conner going down with what's being labeled as a very serious ankle injury. It's tough to see. He's a good guy, played a lot of his career in Pittsburgh, been through a lot. What do you think about this Cardinals team going up against a Seahawks team that seems to have turned the corner?
What, they turned the corner because they beat the crap out of the Saints? I don't know if that's
well, no, they beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh the week before, so like that's a decent one.
I'm not sure if either one of those things is impressive. This will be an interesting game for this division because one, like anybody can win this division clearly, and I think both teams are still trying to find their footing a little bit. I think the Connor injury in Arizona's not great, and Trey Benson's really good, but him and Connor kind of together has been a good duo. Surprisingly, a primetime game is one of the 3 lowest ticket prices that there is.
Really?
Another primetime game is the lowest, but $44. I guess people aren't as excited about this in Arizona as I kind of thought they would be. I figured they'd be trying to build the hype around what's potentially a Cardinals team that's could be good. So Arizona is favored by 1.5, though.
And both teams are 2-1, so it's not like you have 2-0-3 teams here. Like this should be a decent
big
matchup.
Early game in this division.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's go to. I guess we have to go to Sunday. There's the early game now. Minnesota, Pittsburgh in Dublin. This is technically a nationally televised game, so I'm going to put it in the primetime slot.
Oh, are you? You're just we're just finding a special category for this game. Crazy.
We'll talk about all the international games. This just happens to be the first one. The Steelers were they were favored in this contest just a few weeks ago, and now that line has shifted dramatically with the Steelers' anemic offense and the Vikings just exploding last week against Cincinnati. Carson Wentz should be the quarterback for the Vikings again, and the Minnesota Vikings are giving 2.5 points. What do you think about this game?
I think this is Minnesota. I mean, Carson Wentz, Sam Darnold, what's the difference? You need a quarterback who's going to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson, hand the ball to your running backs, even with Aaron Jones out. This is a smart offense and defense. Minnesota's a really tough team. And if they don't have a young quarterback like J.J. McCarthy who looks a little lost, they're pretty dangerous. Like this is a team that can beat a whole lot of people. I mean, they proved it last year by winning 14, 15 games.
With Sam Darnold. Yeah, now let me ask you, because you've been to these international games. In your opinion, do you think it favors one team or the other for whatever reason, in any capacity?
Yeah, the team that goes the earliest.
So not the Steelers is what you're saying.
I think it makes a difference of it's who gets out there the earliest and acclimates. Like it is a very different thing to play at that time of day.
Yeah, early reports I think the Vikings are going over Thursday, Pittsburgh's going over Friday.
I think that's super late to be going, but
I think it's super dumb, and they did the same thing in London in 2013, the last time the Steelers played overseas, lost to the Vikings in that game. But all right, so there you go. We're not going to talk about that anymore. Let's go to Sunday night. We have a good one here. Let's see. I'm trying to find it. Oh, I just lost it. Okay, Packers-Cowboys. Maybe it's not as good as I thought. I looked at the wrong game. So Packers-Cowboys in Dallas. Dallas is coming off of a really bad loss to the Chicago Bears. Green Bay's coming off of what most people would say is a really bad loss in Cleveland. This is an interesting game with Green Bay spotting 6.5 points on the road. What do you think about this one?
Well, I'm shocked by this one that you've got tickets under $60 for this. Cowboys sell out everything. They're always packed. It's always, and this is you think you'd have the fanfare of Cowboys fans that are mad at the Cowboys that are just going to show up to cheer for Micah Parsons, hoping that he does good. But I thought this was early enough that Cowboys fans would be there wanting to voice their displeasure or whatever it is. This is, but maybe they just don't want to see the team get beat this bad.
Did you say $60?
Tickets.
$57 for a Cowboys game?
I mean, I live in North Texas. Like, that doesn't happen here. That price.
Wow, like that is. If you would have said, Jeff, I want you to guess the top three, I never would have put this game even close to the top three because Green Bay is also a fan base that has.
It's the same price as Tennessee, Houston.
Holy crap, that's crazy. But we're going to hear Micah Parsons that's just going to be beaten like a drum this week. What do you think about this game though? Because the Packers did not look good in Cleveland. Dallas did not look good in Chicago. What do you think? Because to me, this is like a tipping point game for the Cowboys. If you lose this one at home on a national stage, you're 1-3. That's rough.
Well, I got to think. I mean, CeeDee Lamb saying he's going to play, but he's not going to play. Not with an ankle sprain. And Dallas has already kind of been rough even against not good defenses, and I think that you're going to see as motivated a Micah Parsons as you can. And actually, I think the way the Packers seem to be embracing him, he seems to be really fitting in there, which he was not a locker room leader in Dallas or a locker room favorite with his teammates. He seems to have changed some things. I think this Packers teammates are going to be motivated to make a statement for him. And also, the Packers do well in Dallas. Like this, for years, it's been known that the Dallas Cowboys lose at home to the Packers, and for years, they've not really lost at home to very many teams.
All right, so let's switch over to Monday night. They're doing the same stupid crap they did last year where they're blocking Monday night games. This is not the 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. window and then a late game that starts at 10. They're doing a Jets-Dolphins game, which starts at 7:15, and then an hour later you've got Bengals-Broncos in Denver.
Eastern Standard Time.
Correct, Eastern Standard Time. What do you think about this doubleheader?
I think this is a perfect doubleheader to have them go in at the same time because both games are probably not going to be good. And one of them is you can get a $27 ticket for the Jets versus Miami. In Miami, probably going to be a beautiful night in Miami, and it's $27 per ticket for lowest price on tickets. Nobody's watching that game.
$27. Shoot, you could take the family. Let's go have a fun time. Let's watch 2 0-3 teams be crappy against one another.
I mean, it's like nobody's watching that game, so it's
you bring up a good point, and I have bashed ESPN for them trying this, but this is the perfect setup though. If you have one game that's going to suck, you're like, okay, at least this isn't a standalone. We're going to have Bengals Broncos, which should be a little bit more enticing because at least the Bengals have a winning record. They have some star power with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and all that. And Broncos, they should 1-2. That stuff they technically shouldn't be 1-2, but still. I don't know, but this is not a good slate of games though. Either way you slice it, but just to let everyone know, Miami is giving 2.5 to the Jets at home. The Broncos are giving 7.5 to the Bengals at home. That seems steep, don't you?
Yeah, it's well, and also the over under on both games is 44.5. But yeah, that's I don't know. I mean, that the Bengals defense did not make any improvement.
No, we knew that. Which team gets their first win, Miami or New York Jets?
I didn't dislike the way the Jets looked with Tyrod Taylor running that, and I don't think Justin Fields is going to get that job back, at least not this week. But I'll go with Miami.
All right, let's go to our next category, which are must-watch games. I think that we are definitely looking at the same game, and that is going to be the nationally televised CBS game 425, Ravens at Chiefs. Baltimore is coming off of a really tough loss to the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football. Let's talk about this game first. This is the must-watch game. Would you agree?
I have another game that's on at the same time that I will be paying attention to.
Okay, well, let's talk Ravens-Chiefs first. What do you think about this game? The Chiefs are actually getting 2.5 points at home against Baltimore, which is pretty wild when you think about it, with a total of 49.5, and the Chiefs haven't been scoring a lot of points. Chiefs are 1-2, Ravens are 1-2. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, there's things going on with the Ravens that I think is weird. Like there's times when they're looking really good, but they're finding ways to lose games. And it's just so weird how they'll have a lot of 3 and outs and then a lot of getting right down the field. But I'm not sure what they're doing with Derrick Henry this year. I don't know if they've been so. I thought they were so bad with it 2 weeks ago that this last week they would 100% have to fix that. They didn't, and then when they get him the ball late in the game, he fumbles. I'm not sure what the Ravens are necessarily doing, but they don't look like they have like sustained drives. I don't see them doing a lot of like 10-play, 8-minute drives. Like it's just not the way it works. They either get chunks, or they punt. And so I'm not really sure what the Ravens are and if they're as good as we're probably most people are giving them credit for right now.
I think they are that good. I think the problem they run into on offense, especially, is there's only one football. Like, and we've seen this on other teams before. So, you have Rashad Bateman, you have Zay Flowers, you have Mark Andrews, you have Isaiah Likely, you have Derrick Henry, you have Lamar Jackson. I could keep going. You understand what I'm saying? And eventually, like, sometimes you feel like their offensive play calling is, well, we got to get the ball to so-and-so because they haven't had a touch yet. I mean, they haven't gotten him the ball yet. And it's not ever, let's just run Derrick Henry because we can run Derrick Henry right down their throat and it's going to work the entire game. They always want to sprinkle something else in. And yes, there are times where you have to do that, but ultimately Baltimore, sometimes they're their own worst enemy. And defensively, that was a rough performance on Monday Night Football. Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions, they kind of had their way, and everyone knew that Dan Campbell was going to be aggressive. Multiple fourth down calls that he went for it, and the Ravens just didn't seem like they were prepared for it.
What do you think about Lamar Jackson getting sacked 7 times? Like that's the one that I'm like, that's not normal for them, and that's a stark difference of something they're trying to put in his head and something they're asking him to decide to do that he's just not getting there.
Well, I mean, when you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers' success against the Ravens, and yes, the last few, what's that?
I don't.
I know you don't, but they have harassed Lamar Jackson. Yeah, that's how That's how you win, and you have to get to him. You got to hit him. You got to get him off his spot, and it's difficult. It's really difficult. But what do you think about this game? Do you think the Chiefs stand a chance, or do you think the Ravens get right?
I think the Chiefs stand a chance. I think that they're going to have a little more health this coming week. I also think that some of the willy-nilly weird plays that you've seen from Mahomes, I think that he's going to be a little more focused this week. I think that Andy Reid's probably going to dig into some details, and maybe they haven't been, because of so many years of sustained success, maybe there was a few details that they were missing. This last week, they looked sloppy, some laterals, some other weird things, people turning the wrong way, and it's just, I think they're going to dig into some details this week, not try to be so cute, and I think this is going to be a closer game than the Kansas City can be within 1 score at the end of the game.
I've got to lean under on 49.5. Yeah. I don't see Kansas City scoring that many points, so I'm going to lean on the under there. What's your game of the week? If you have a different one, what are you looking at?
Man, I'm excited to watch the Colts and Rams.
Okay.
I think that's a game that I want to see. I mean, the Colts are 3-0. If they're putting it together, they can definitely be 4-0. And then Rams are 2-1. They can come out of here. I mean, both teams have a lot of motivation. Can be in first place in their division. Obviously, if they win this game, you can tell that Matt Stafford's not 100% healthy. But when he's gotten the good blocking, I still think when he steps up in the pocket and throws the ball, I'm not sure if there's anybody that throws like a better pass in the NFL than him. It's just you have to get to that. I don't know. And then they finally got Devontae Adams in. I think he had a 44-yard touchdown. Him getting a catch, and if him and Puka Nacua are both out there, they've found a smart way to use Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. So I think there's a good offense there, and we'll see what the Colts really have and see what they keep building.
I like that choice, but are we overlooking Eagles, Buccaneers, 2 undefeated teams at 3-0 down in Tampa Bay? I think that's going to be a really good game. I think Tampa Bay, and you would know it better than I do because you're an NFC South guy, I think they're a really good football team. I feel like they're a complete football team. They might not be the best at anything, but they complement each other well. The Eagles definitely struggled against the Rams. They pulled out the win at the end. What did you think? What do you think about this matchup? This is a 1:00 kickoff Eastern time on Sunday.
I think Tampa Bay is set in a really good spot to actually win this game. I can't believe that they're dogs by 3.5 in their own stadium. The Eagles team, they kind of did that thing that Kansas City did last year where they looked like they're going to lose. They don't look like the best team, and then they end up winning the game. It's also the thing that the Eagles did 2 years ago where they just kept, like, they were 10-0, but they were not a good football team. It was weird. But they're still winning games, which I think is important. But I really think Tampa Bay's got a little more of an attitude and a toughness to them this year. Some of that's Baker Mayfield, some of that's some of their other veterans and all. But I think they're going to look at this as a statement game for them of showing toughness because Philly's kind of tries to act like they're a tough team. I also think this will finally be when we throw penalty flags on the tush push. Finally. Because last week we were told they were going to do it. The Eagles did not get a single penalty, but there was a false start on every single tush push. And then the Saints ran one tush push and got a penalty called on it, which is just awesome. But I think this is finally where the NFL makes this statement and there's got to be some pressure on them to actually call the penalty.
Yeah. And that might be where we start to see this kind of level is if they're jumping off sides repeatedly.
Every play.
And if you call it every time, well, that's going to push them back 5 yards. So if they don't have that head start, does the play work as well as it should? We'll see. I think that's going to be interesting. All right, so let's go to our next topic, sneaky good games. I'm looking at the slate. It is really tough for me to find a sneaky good matchup, like a matchup where you're like, hey, this could be good. What do you think? Do you see any games that pop out to you?
So you're not picking the Saints versus the Bills? Like it's only a 15.5 point game. You're not leaning into that one.
I'm not touching that one. I'm not touching that. that might be another category.
Yeah, I mean, with the injuries and teams underperforming, it hasn't been great so far. I think that there's a case to make that the Bears versus Raiders could be an interesting game. One, the Raiders have shown the ability to get the ball down the field. They're 1-2. They have a losing record. Geno Smith has not been great. The Bears defense has not been great. That could help the Raiders, kind of get back to it, is playing against a poor defense. But the Chicago offense seems to be figuring things out. They looked really good against the Cowboys. I really always thought that Ben Johnson paired with Caleb Williams was going to be the perfect thing for Caleb Williams, but he had to de-Caleb him a little bit. And I think that we're talking about by the third game of this season, Caleb Williams is looking like a quarterback. He's standing in the pocket. He's not getting happy feet. He's not freaking out. He's not throwing the ball the wrong way. He's not trying to, should I run and scramble and do my Patrick Mahomes impression. He's looking like a real quarterback that wants to stay in the pocket. This could be a fun, high-scoring game with like neither one of them necessarily having a great defense and both of them having explosive offenses.
That's true. That's a good one. I would say another one that might be interesting for different reasons, but Jaguars are 2-1. The 49ers are 3-0 in San Francisco. The San Francisco 49ers, to me, from an outsider's perspective, have not looked good. I think they are one of the worst 3-0 teams, and they just lose Joey Bosa for the year with a torn ACL. That team is cursed. I don't know what's going on. If their stadium,
Brock Purdy will be back.
Okay, but that's good because Mac Jones, I believe, he got hurt in the last game. So I'll be curious. That might be one that is interesting. We'll just put it that way. Maybe not sneaky good, sneaky interesting. We'll put it that way. All right.
I think me and you might have underestimated Jacksonville. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. All right, let's go to you can only watch one. There's some tough games to choose from. We've talked about a lot of them. If you could only watch one game, which one are you going to watch?
I think ultimately it comes down to that Philadelphia-Tampa Bay game with kind of the most on the line and most that could be a quote-unquote playoff preview. I predicted the Colts would do well. It's hard to be excited about sitting and watching the whole Colts game play-by-play. And then, it's that or Baltimore, Kansas City, but I'm going to stick with that Philadelphia-Tampa Bay game. I think it's going to be a physical game, and I'd like to watch it.
I'm going to go Ravens Chiefs. An AFC guy. It's obviously where I'm going to go with that one. All right, let's finish this up with the dud of the week. There's some bad ones on the slate, just like there are every week. Which is the dud of the week for you?
I guess, so there's two different ways I go about this. One is the biggest spread, which we know what that one is. Saints at Buffalo. I don't know how it's only 15.5. But then the other one is your lowest over-under, which is the Titans at the Texans. I've continued to say, I tell you what, the Titans look bad. That's just not. That doesn't look like a fun. Even if you're a fan of the team playing them and you're like, oh, we're going to win by 20. That's not a fun watch. It's somewhere in there. I would say I'm just going to punt and say that it's the Jets versus the Dolphins.
Okay. I'm going to go Chargers Giants in New York. Russell Wilson looked like, it was bad.
Is he starting?
No, Dayball, as of this being recorded, has not made any confirmation either way.
I really thought that, and I text this to some friends, that I think we just saw Russell Wilson's last pass in the NFL. Now, they got the ball back really fast, and I was like, well, we delayed it for a few more. But that 4-play series looked like a rookie and looked like also somebody who didn't care. So it was like this weird, like, rookie making bad decisions, but also like, screw it, I'm just going to toss the ball into the tunnel. You can't start him. I mean, you got to you if you want to start a veteran, if Jackson Dart's not ready, you start Jameis Winston. But Russell Wilson can't, outside of injury, can't play another snap in the NFL.
I agree, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and I said I feel like his career is on the line, and he throws for 450 or whatever it was against Dallas, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's Russ again." We've seen this movie before, and we know how it ends. I think Dayball has to go to Jackson Dart, so maybe there is some intrigue, but I just don't think this game's going to be competitive at all. Poor Malik Neighbors. Such a talented young man, just stuck.
How did that dude get so many yards last year? He's
such a talented young man, just stuck in a bad situation. But all right, Wesley, why don't you tell us where we can find your Saints coverage this week?
Yeah, you can find me on X at @WhoDatWesley13, or you can find me on the Dome Patrol podcast at Dome Patrol PCast. You can find us on all your streaming platforms. Jeff, where can we find you in your Steelers coverage?
You can go to Steel Curtain Network, wherever you get your podcasts, or steelcurtainnetwork.com. Find me on Twitter at jhartman, HARTMAN_PIT. It is Ryder Cup week. You'll be getting a lot of golf tweets this week from me, so make sure you check that out. I know Wesley will be watching.
So much. Go Tiger.
Shut up.
Charlie Woods in the Ryder Cup?
Not yet. So, all right, Wesley, thanks for your time, man. We'll talk next week. Take care.
See you, man.